I walked into that courthouse thinking it was going to be boring. Just paperwork, a judge who barely looks up a fine, maybe a lecture, and then I would be back on the road before lunch. That was the plan. That was always the plan. What I didn't know was that the moment I stepped through those metal doors, somebody had already decided who I was, how much respect I deserved, and how far they could push me. And once people make up their mind about you like that, they usually don't expect you to push back. The hallway smelled like old carpet and burnt coffee. The air was heavy, the kind of heat that sticks to your skin and makes tempers shorter. I was leaning against the wall, hands in my pockets, wearing a suit I'd bought years ago for a funeral. Nothing fancy, no jewelry, no attitude, just waiting for my name to be called. I could feel eyes on me. The quick looks, the slow ones, the kind that linger a second too long. You get used to that if you look like me, or at least you think you do. That's when I heard boots coming down the hall. Loud, confident, somebody who wanted to be noticed. The deputy didn't even slow down at first, just barked, "Move." I stepped aside without a word. That should have been the end of it, but he stopped, turned back, looked me up and down like he was appraising damaged goods. Then he smiled. Not friendly, not amused, just satisfied, like he'd found something to entertain himself with before court started. "So you actually showed up," he said. "Most guys like you don't." I met his eyes and kept my voice calm. "I respect the process." He laughed, shook his head. "We'll see how long that lasts." 2 weeks earlier, he'd pulled me over on a back road near my mom's place, said I was swerving. I wasn't. I'd avoided a pothole big enough to crack a rim. He asked to search my car. I said no, politely. That was all it took. His tone changed. His posture stiffened, and suddenly it wasn't about traffic anymore. It was about control. He couldn't find anything, so he wrote me up anyway. Failure to comply. Resisting somehow without ever raising my voice. Thin charges, but he knew where we were. He knew who would be sitting on the bench. Inside the courtroom, it felt like a stage play everyone had rehearsed except me. The judge barely looked at defendants. The deputy testified like he was reading from a script. The people in the gallery looked tired, defeated, already resigned to whatever was coming. When it was my turn, the deputy told his story. How I was aggressive, how he feared for his safety, how I disrespected the badge. It was impressive, honestly. The confidence, the ease of lying when you know nobody's going to challenge you. When the judge asked me to respond, I told the truth. Simply said the deputy wasn't being honest. The room shifted. You could feel it. The judge finally looked up, then peering at me like I'd just insulted him personally. He warned me about perjury. Asked why anyone should believe me over a sworn officer. Asked what I did for a living, what made me think I knew the law. I could have explained. I didn't. I just said enough to establish that I wasn't clueless. It didn't matter. Guilty. Maximum fine. And then, because I'd apparently bruised someone's ego, contempt of court. 24 hours in county jail. For a traffic stop. I asked to show video from my car. Denied. The gavel came down, sharp and final, and the deputy was already standing, reaching for his cuffs like he'd been waiting all morning for this part. "Turn around," he said loud enough for everyone to hear. "I'm not resisting," I said. "Just do it professionally." That's when he grabbed my arm and yanked hard, trying to force me down. It didn't work. His face changed. Embarrassment turned to anger right in front of everyone. He shouted that I was resisting. Then he stepped back and kicked me. People talk about moments like that as if you have time to think. You don't. Training or instinct or something deeper takes over. I moved, caught his leg, redirected the force, and swept him off his feet. He hit the floor hard. The room exploded into noise. I stepped back immediately, hands up, voice clear. I am not resisting. I am defending myself. He scrambled up, grabbed his baton, and charged. That wasn't procedure, that was rage. I stopped him, controlled him, put him down without hurting him more than necessary. Locked him in place. The judge was shouting. Someone screamed to shoot me. And that was the moment I realized how close things really were to going very wrong. I said my name. My full name. I said who I worked for. I said it because I wanted to live, not because I wanted recognition. The effect was instant. Guns lowered, voices quieted. Someone finally made a call to people who weren't part of the same small circle. And once that call was made, everything changed. Months later, the same footage played in a federal courtroom, clean and undeniable. Not just my case, but others. Patterns. Witnesses. Money. Threats. The deputy who once strutted through that hallway sat smaller than I remembered, his confidence gone. His story falling apart under real scrutiny. The verdict didn't take long. Guilty on everything that mattered. When the sentence was read, I didn't feel victory. I felt relief. Like a weight I didn't even realize I'd been carrying finally slid off my shoulders. Justice didn't come fast, and it didn't come easily, but it came. A while after that, I was back at my mom's house fixing the roof I'd originally come home to fix. Quiet afternoon. Cicadas buzzing. No sirens. A new sheriff stopped by just to say thanks, just to say things were changing. Body cameras. Oversight. Accountability. I listened. I nodded. I hoped it would last. That night, sitting at the kitchen table eating a simple meal, I thought about how close it all came to ending differently. How many people never get the chance to tell their side, never get the camera, never get the call returned. And I wondered what would have happened if I'd been just a little less prepared, a little less lucky. So here's my question to you. Where do you draw the line between authority and abuse? How much power is too much when nobody's watching? And what would you have done if you were standing where I stood that day? Let me know in the comments, because these stories don't matter unless we talk about them. And if you've seen something like this or lived it yourself, share it. Silence is what lets this stuff grow.